Children in Karamoja region are increasingly being trafficked or running away on their own to work in other parts of the country to make money for their families.
The challenge is that the young, most especially the girls in our place here, do face so many, but among which I can just mention one or two. One, you may find that here there is a lot of hunger, which is caused by so many other climatic factors, like a drought. Like you may find that in a year that the rain patterns are not all that fine. Okay. A certain year you may find rain is there, another year it is not there. So you may find there is no food. So those guys will intend to go and look in search of food the other side, the sense of Kampala, Bale, wherever, just to make whereby they collect some little food they get and send it back home. Okay. And then the other thing is domestic violence. Yeah. Although you may find, although the government tries as much as possible through the organizations supporting, which are against the gender-based violence, to make sure that these girls are supported or they are taken care of. Still, you may find in other communities, like deep in the villages, whereby laws are not actually seen. Actually, there is nothing like a police, nothing like any government entity that keeps law and order. You may find these girls are abused. The other side, they are made to marry when they are still young. So some of them do run away just because they don't want to marry when they are still young.
We know that the issue of child trafficking is pertinent in our district. And street-connected children, we see that most of our children from Napak are visible, and they are really more connected to the streets compared to other children from the other regions. We know most of the NGOs now are benefiting because of these children, street-connected children. Most of them are briefcase, and they are getting a lot of donations in the name of Karamojong Children. But most of our girls, most of our children are integrated within the community, but they still go back. So that means we need to do a lot of follow-up. We need to change the mindset of the community within there. When we interact with the children, they always talk about the family. The family level is not conducive for their development, for their survival. There is a lot of gender-based violence. There is a lot of child abuse within the family unit. And I am saying that we shall never achieve much if we remain at livelihoods, if we remain at sensitizations. We need to integrate so many issues, so many programs for this kind of groups. We should have interventions at the family level.
The factor that drives these children to go and beg in Kampala, or what attracts them, makes them vulnerable to being trafficked, is poverty. Other factors are insecurity, gender-based violence, and lack of family support and protection, and the erosion of family values. But a core factor driving them is poverty.
ADOL, a non-governmental organization operating in Napak district, has intervened to cause mindset change to repatriated children from the streets and support them with seed capital, a move intended to keep them off the streets.
This project is to rescue our brothers and sisters from on the streets of Kampala and slums and bring them back home to avoid any mistreatment, and also making sure that we transform their lives from that poor situation to a better one back home. But this time we are targeting only at the girl child. I know, of course, our brothers, the male children are also there, but this time we are only targeting at the girls. these people are too many outside there, but this is a pilot, that's why there are few. But we want to see how this one will work out before we can expand. So the project is comprehensive because we handle issues of social protection, which includes medical and health, and also their welfare. And at the same time, the issues of legal support, issues of human rights abuse, among other things, then the issue of livelihood. So today is one of the stages of the project component because we brought them from Kampala. They were in Kogulin for transformation and involving actually training in livelihoods until they were integrated with their families.
The function today is to support these girls with business startup capital after they are undergone training. And we did this training together with the district. The person who came from the district was Chaon, the senior commercial officer for town council. Yeah, she was seconded by Joshua from the district to come for the training because she was near the Populi, which was convenient. But she was unable to participate here today. So after undergoing this training, which we did in business skills, entrepreneurship, savings, and financial literacy, we are now able to give them business startup capital. Originally, we are going to train them in some vocational skills, informal vocational skills, but most of them chose to enterprises which don't require vocational skills. They chose enterprises which are trade enterprises, buying and selling clothes. I think in one group, buying and selling foodstuff. I think two groups. Yeah, then one group chose buying and selling Karamojong attire, like ngatuko, and other things. So those are what they chose, which don't require any vocational skills training. So what we required was business skills training and financial literacy training, and that's what we did. Some of them are even registered to do making liquid soap, and some of them are even registered because we gave them options. These are the options available, and they are registered. 6 at one as I said, we do liquid soap. 6 they are registered to do bakery. But later, when they learned that training will again take longer, and those ones who are trained in basic business skills will go away, they refused. They protested, in fact. They said, no, we are not remaining behind. What they want to go. So we had to harmonize with them, and we said, okay, if that's what they agreed, so let's go with that. Among the people who have been trained, some of them are young, and according to the law in Uganda, a girl who is 14 years below cannot run a business. That would be child labor. So those ones are recommended, in fact, to be taken to school because we consider NGOs who are experts working with children. Like we consulted them, the dogs will be taken to school. Now these ones are not interested in going to school. And some of them are really too big even to start school. So what we have agreed is that they should be accompanied by a parent or a guardian when receiving the money. And therefore, the guardian or parent should be participating in the activities of the group regularly and guiding them. And that's what we have done with some of these girls who are here. Some of them are 9 years, I think one is 11 years, one is 12 years, I think 2 are 14 years. So the money we are going to give them is 1 million per child. But they will be in groups. But it will be equivalent of 1 million per child or per girl to run enterprises. So what we are giving today is 25% of that money because of 2 reasons. One, when we consulted with Nema and Joshua, the commercial officers at the town council and the district, they said we should not give them all the money at once. We should give them in installments because so that we monitor how they perform. And second, if you give them all the money at once, they'll just divide the money and disappear and go back to council. But the balance of 75% we will get it because it is in the agreement that we are standing in the groups and also witnessed by the cow, since the district is involved. in implementing. The second reason, we also give you money in installment because they don't spend all the money at once. Like all projects, they send part of it and they send part of it later. So most of it have to go for training, transport, color relocating and all that. So that's what most of the expense went. We're giving them the balance of the money to start the business. Then when the donor sends the second part to install the money, we shall not give them the balance.
Experts and local leaders confirm that many children in this rural, isolated part of Uganda aren't in school since school fees are out of their families' reach.
We are the invited officials from the sub-county to come, but by the time we started the program, they are not yet come, but hopefully I've seen some people have joined us. Let's hope some of them are part of the already come. And this is a challenging area that we shall need to work closely with the CDO and the sub-county, especially, and any other official that the sub-county will be useful. And even the SCDO chairman being the leader. Because they don't have to read and write, they're going to see money in cash, not in the bank, the way we used to do. They will not keep any record yet, they're running businesses. So how will let you know that money has been collected? How will you know that the author has not cheated them? Even those who are read and write, they are calling over money in Morocco, the ones I used to oversee. So where they have clear records. That's a very big challenge that we have with this group. The challenge we have with this group is that most of them are illiterate. Only one person stopped in P3, one person stopped in P4, and one stopped in P6. And yet, from my personal experience, where I used to work, the group we are working with, where people who were, some of them knew how to read and write. So they were forming open the bank accounts and we transfer money to the bank. And we are helping them develop business plans and record keeping and how to keep records of their groups. But this is now a very big challenge, and this is where we shall have the biggest problem. Because we are giving them money in cash, they don't know how to write, they don't know how to keep records, and I don't know how we are going to make this be effective. It will be a very big learning point.
And as well as failure to go back to school because of lack of money. So this thing makes them to run away in search of green pastures so that they can come back home and find ways of survival.
While the practice of leaving the area to beg in the capital is often condoned by family members, the district governments in the Karamoja region are working to change residents' attitude about this practice.
Now, they are going back home. Some of them are already married. Their spouses are waiting for them from home. The relatives are aware that they are going to come with some money. And this money, if we have not prepared the family, the community where these people are going to, we are not going to achieve much. So in the future, we need to plan, engage with that community, have own visits for the families to see how are they coping and how are they supporting them in their business enterprises. And it should not be once. We need to do that continuously. Because we know that as long as the family unit where these children come from is not safe, is not conducive, they will always go back. So my appeal to you is, let us design programs. We integrate issues of positive parenting. We integrate issues of ending GBV. We integrate issues of, connectivity, social connectivity within that community. How do we work with all the structures? Because today we are here with the girls, we are here with the mothers. The leaders, the LC1 is at home. The cultural leaders are at home. The elders are at home. Otherwise, if we don't work with all the structures, they will also end up perpetrating against these children and not support the program.
Sani ngoli kimi yoko kuenta kama kata mar ela la bore itan tu koko. Ala ta ma ki popolo ni koko. Paka to tia wayone. Makiro ka ada tare yani na ke ku le yani ne ke tane ye ngolo juigi. Ena pente ye neni. Sani ite ya ki yar kite yang aren ko terenyo aki yara ikon koko. Kori ngo aku ko ke bone ito ara ku diki yara bona. Ngudu cia dali mami ada kita ngede ya cia ka moi ne bo ka ta to kudo to kana mame totene moji ani kudori kilere ko kal kori mere ha kilo ka yo to kana ra bolia na kini bolia na kini mati kire yo de ye wa yo ne ni ba yo ka dia me ka lila na bore mo ye ke ganyae ko di ba ha so a lot of matter konane.
We have brought a pilot phase of 25 girls so far, and we expect this to be a learning point and build a strong case to expand this project in future and scale it up to cover many more girls, because there are over 5,000 girls out there who are trafficked, they are vulnerable, they are stranded, and they are suffering and they are being exploited. So we want to bring all this back home. We also want to, in future, to have interventions that prevent these girls from going to Kampala in the first place. And this, we shall do it by strengthening community system, family values, mobilizing the leaders, recording films in Kampala of how they suffer in Kampala, how they live in very shabby and dirty circumstances, and show those films back in the villages here, so they see how life is not as a dream as they assume when they see the few girls coming from Kampala and dressed nicely. But if they see where they live in Kampala, it is very, very, very shoddy background and shanty tin houses. So that's the kind of film that we shall do in the future and show them back home.
The other thing I wanted us really to look into also was the issue of sharing this information with the district. The details of the girls, what they have got, and then their locations. With the commercial office, with the DCDO's office, with probation. We have so many government programs. So that in case there is opportunity, apart from the support ADOL has given to the girls, they can still be able to integrate it in other programs. Not necessarily where they can benefit from the money, even in other groups within the community. Because now when we look at these girls, we believe they should be change agents. Their families should change. We should, by the end of next year, we should see that their siblings are at home. Within that community, nobody is going to the streets, because we know that Lope is one of the hotspots for child trafficking. So we need to have those interventions where we are still connected with them, so that they don't leave home, but also as they are doing their businesses, they have testimonies to share with the rest of the children, the rest of the community members, so that we can end, at least we can reduce child trafficking within their villages and Lope. So we need to look into that. The issue of the MOU.
Acamta onata mare Lope ito kona ikiyente rewan. Ikiyente rewan ko tera kerkito. Ke yeso anye yen Lope ida. Yeni ko terenyo, ko teren ko male kerete to. Sa nyutoro ko anda ikai kinod. Ata marwan ya ko mun. Eto wo kidi mulu cheda to bongu chai. To bongu tu lore. Iya ki yara ne ala no wo lore. Kona ya di amuna ta mo inga ai tingare rengi yang ngona ala kana bande ge. Kai ko lore ka loto.
We know that the district has had interventions really to end child trafficking, to end unsafe out migrations. The police are doing interceptions. We have community dialogue meetings with the communities. We are creating awareness. We are trying to handle case management, the others, rescue, rehabilitate, and integrate. But we are not achieving much. Yes, we are achieving little, we are achieving something, but we are not achieving much because of the issue of follow-up. We need to emphasize, we need to put more efforts in the follow-up, in the monitoring and supervision. At the district level, we have focal persons. We have line departments. We have the commercial office. We have the web focal person. We have the YMP focal person. Even at the level of the sub-county, we have the CDOs. We have the vet. We have other technical staff, which we should introduce to these groups, so that time and again they should be able to follow up and support them and remind them on how they can go about with their businesses. So my appeal is for the girls. I know that they refused to be in Koblin because of the time they were going to spend there. But nevertheless, in the future, if others still come out and say we want still to benefit from the other courses, we should be able to plan and give them that opportunity.
Iya program yang mana gan kerja bukan mana ngetunga etiaka tiaka gala. Na ini jangan nak nyau tunga le wah mati ye yore. Iya program dan na gan tengah ber. Mana nak kena tengah ber na ini telinga lucu tata. Enak kita ngam jom kita kena ngarang ni angkat. Enak ni be grup lagi tengah ni lebon. Lagi tengah angkat. So, apa lo dia tak nak ke gaya ni ada kulit cilo. Tanya nak sama bitia saya dah jawab. Kita dah nak jalan nak program ni na. Narai ni nama nak bung lo dia tanto. Arai nak pilih kerja apa itu lebih. Ngerti kan nak kata dah guna cie pot yang kita lengan. Bitia tu kulit cilo. Iya program nak pun nak kita roh. Ya tu luar roh rai kan. Ngerti parang kan waktu menunggu. Iya program ni na. Ina ikan itu nak bung kita roh. Ina dah angin. Ina nak tunang tunang kita lengan. Karena gue nyuruh dia bukan mau ijik, bawa kalau kan berdada atau bawa pakai itu. Nah, tapi kan nunggu, ya. So, dia mau ya kalau kan berdada nggak bukan. Arain ini, ini boleh campur. Itu apa namanya nak nguru yang dia tamar. Tapi dia nunggu, dia kata ini ya. Kalau kau karai lope Paris, nene lo bete. So apa lo kayak kita bikin kona bukan berdada di itu. Wani na yara ni tu kalau itu punya renyo. Ayo kau kiar. Ojo ngota di kona ini. Agak lagi kin berdada. Tak kena dua lalak ni nanya. Tak kena di apa kalau itu na. Saya lalak kan tungali dia letak di boro. Mereka tu mereka memang itu enggak dia lak. Yang tungali dia letak di boro. Ipoter karai matanya dane. Nah dia ada di sini. Nah, aku ni je kamu le. Nah, mau kondan itu kan dia nak tengkar ni je nak gue korot. So, tadi tu dah kira yo tuan kira ni ke bicara ni nak kena. Kiri mau tinggi yang itu kau ni dah dia lah yang korot kai dia nak pun cek dia mai nak dia lah nak. So, una balik ke cakap dia dah kemar. Oh, tinggal kia le jo. Kai boy kilo di lore. Iki boy atar mau iki yang atar. Kau dia. Ayah dah panjang apa tertato, nenek punya dia miang. Kata tu lupa ada tu. Ni dua kali bulannya sama dia kalau ikan tay itu mayo. Kalau tak ada itu, ada tu dia apa ini miang. Yang ni siapa yang juga ada ni. Yang ni ada lah. Saya jangan dulu dia maka. Jangan tarai. Ibu orang ini aja kan kiai. Kau ni kau nak jauh kita muncul dulu. Ini lagi ya maka kalau tarai dia lagi boraina. Yau perjalanan ni, apa macam kereta ini?
Ini proyek kita kan meluncur, ini kota proyek itu loh. Itu kerja orang orang tapi itu dulu itu ni mentua. So pokoknya dulu ya punya lah kampar kan. Itu proyek itu loh. Itu saya jawab akal meluncur. Nah ini baru ini tengah tengah ikut ni kinyom. Ibarat tak ini tengah kan tengah ni kinyom. Lu kena kan dapat dia kekare. Mari kita mana dia yo ke lu bagi yang lu bener ya. Tole mana ya. Kilo tanah ya tak kaya ngere baik. Ayat tanah ke nabi deh. Dong lu ya itu tak lagi biar napa. So arah sama ima business lu tu lu ya gitu. Ini dia kolonoi.
Iya orang ngatu kita. Iya agak tata maga jangan dia lagi di luar tamar. Oke yang dia luai. Boleh guna dikele pa atau jauh tahu yang awal ni. Jangan tu alu itu agreement aku pasti. Kalau luar awal kai kacang nak kau ni lu kerja nak tanah iru bina ataupun nak tanah lem kau kerja. Yau dia tak laku dia tak laku dari lem mana kau pana. Kau lega awal calo kau ama. mamu itu aku ada dulu jalan calonin. Pada itu jaga, jadi tege. Akro itu dia mutu kena lawan. Ini bukan yang kena ngetong lugu, nowi. Hotel itu dia mutuku. Karena akarulo nowi. Iya korea akarulo narunan. Karena bawa dia di. Jadi petawana kayak tagi unku. Soalnya mangkok kalau kau panas. Hotel tu ada kau panas.
Name?
Mugelamba Ismaila, representing the Community Development Office of the Sub-County. First, I thank and appreciate ADOL for the support they are giving to these children. As a sub-county, what we are going to do is we are ready to supervise and monitor these groups so closely to ensure that these resources, the funds, are utilized in the expected manner. Also, we are going to, since our government has many programs which are rolled down to the parishes, we are going to ensure that these groups are supported, for example, by making them to join the web groups, and then also we shall involve them in the programs of the parish model, which are soon kicking off in parishes. I just want to ask government or the organization bodies if they can really come in and support these girls in terms of education, whereby some of them can be taken to these technical institutions here, where they can learn skills of survival, life skills, like tailoring, agricultural skills, whatsoever, bricklaying, all that. And then also, if these organizations and government could also provide some support in terms of financial support, whereby they can start some businesses. Like for us here, there are various businesses that we have here. There is a produce, buying and selling of produce. There is also this vendoring of clothes.
Era na bora ni shemio ere ginata marijari mwangu dilenga lugu idong tong lu she kau era shamar be ashamar ngene sama na rewa ngai to bong na bo era na udinga etno ape ya yolo district da ta mo yo nchiko tu na bo ndio ya tsere Can I even hand over this group and then we'll send the next one?
Sign the financial agreement for the money we're giving the groups. The project signs the groups and then the business by the district, decided by the county.
So, something regarding the other people, and there I get about my don't tell me